Hello fellow old schoolers, and welcome to the third match of the TRON Wars, where we're following Jens Ole's travels throughout the tournament. And he's coming up against the deck, which can be a brutal matchup, especially for mid-range decks like this, but Jens Ole does have burn. Let's go over the deck. We have it here, pretty classical with the 4 counter spells and all the books. We have Disenchants and Softer Plowshares. But we also have some odd things here. We have a Red Blast main deck that might come in handy in this deck. So apparently he reckons that he'll only really struggle with decks that has blue in it, so might as well put in a slot for a Red Elemental Blast. We also see him diversifying a bit here. Usually you'd see 2 Abyss main deck, but this guy has 1 Abyss and 1 Demote. And I think that is in line with what I anticipated for this tournament, where I predicted we'd see a bunch of Sky decks with moats to try and counteract all the robots that we saw the last time. And moats would be great in this, so putting moats into the deck and then the second Abyss in the sideboard makes sense in this regard, right? He has 4 counterspells and also a cheeky Spell Blast as a 5th counterspell along with the Mana Drain. And we also have a Mirror Universe that has really come in vogue in the Danish meta for the deck. I think most run with the Mirror Universe at this point. Just trading lives with the other guy once he's done all his damage in the early game. Trading life with him and then just fireballing him straight out. So yeah, we've seen this deck before. There are some differences here, but usually it is a control variant where he'll try to counter and remove the opponent's threats, and then get down a book and draw more cards than the opponents, thus drawing more answers, drawing more ways to draw even more cards, like Ancestor Recall and Brain Geyser. Being able to recall that with 2 recalls, that's also pretty common in the deck in the modern age. And just reuse those draw engines. Slowly pulling ahead and then punching the other guy down with Mistress Factories, or alternatively trading lives with them just for a finishing move with a big fireball. This deck usually splashes all colors and would have access to regrowth, but this one is a bit more focused, having less Cities of Brass and less colors. So it's actually only blue, white, and then a splash of black for Mind Twisted Demonic Tutor, and a splash of red for Red Blast and Fireball. And instead using those recalls. I think that makes sense. Also good against opponents' City in a Bottle. Let's go over Jens Ole's deck here. BB-8 takes its name from 8 bots and 8 burn spells. 4 Sushis, 4 Triskelions, 3 Copy Artifacts provides the creature base, 4 Sonic Blasts and 4 Lightning Bolts provide the burn package, and then it splashes into black for the Abyss, Demonic Tutor and Mind Twist. We also have a couple of shatters here, and Jens Ole's plan would usually be to put in Shivan Dragons once the other guy has taken out his Swords to Plowshares and try to punch him down here. I think that is his main ticket to victory in this situation, because it'll also fly over the moats. And just have to be careful that the other guy doesn't take any blue blasts in. I think, as for the sideboard strategy, I think the deck would put in Divine Offerings, maybe Red and Blue Blast, and I believe Jens Ole should put in all his Shivan Dragons just to really provide some pressure, all the creatures he can get. A viable way could be to put in Blood Moons, though those can really delay the deck's ability to counter and remove stuff, because the deck doesn't have many regular lanes. And yeah, also increased artifact removal if he can get that, just to really just destroy the books if whenever he can. Yeah, I think he should put that in there. We also saw that the deck has a Wrath of God. He might take that in, but I think the Divine Offerings would be more crucial. The Wrath of God is a more it can take on everything, even if Jens Ole makes a transformation sideboard into regular creatures. So he might take in a Wrath of God just as a failsafe. That's my predictions. As for the matchup, I think midrange usually struggle against the deck, but robots does have sort of okay matchup, because you can also copy the opponent's books and just get a lot of draw engine going. I've never seen BB-8 against the deck, so I don't know how that fares against it, but I would imagine all those burn spells would come in handy just to finish the game. But he really needs to have a shatter in hand to block that Mirror Universe if it sees play. So yeah, I'll give a slight edge to the deck here, but I don't know. Let's get ready to rumble here. we have Jens Ole on the left here on BB-8, and the deck on the right on that second play mat. So who's on the play? And do we have any mulligans? It's Tundra coming out here. Slow and steady start. Jens Ole with a bit more speed here with the Mox Jet. Oh, second Tundra out of the deck, so now he can counter. It is the most important dual lane for the deck, I feel. It also makes it possible for him to wipe removal. Yeah, so Jens Ole can't attack now because of all the white spells he can cast. There's blocking Factory out of the deck. Slow and steady. Both sides, they both need a lot of ramp to get things going. Ooh, but there's some Mana Vault that might kick things off for BB-8 here. Yeah, Triskelion coming out, but straight into the first counterspell out of the deck here. At least it wasn't a mana drain. That would be really bad. Oh yeah, okay. Mind Twisting the other guy's hand. 3 cards. Mana drain, Time Twist, and a copy artifact. That is a brutal harvest actually. And the Mana Vault is actually tapped. So yeah, okay, Jens Ole takes a damage from the Mana Vault. Really took the wind out of his sails here, drawing into a Black Lotus. That's not really what he needs. Oh, but sacking it though. Okay, getting another Triskelion out while the deck is tapped out. Emptying his hand, but yeah, last punch in here. Needs to touch base with that robot as quickly as possible. But oh, there's a disenchant though, shooting the deck for 3. Now electing to untap the Mana Vault. Yeah, just to get some bigger stuff out, I suppose, next turn. And drawing into a card. Could have attacked with his factories. Could have been better, maybe. There's the Silverstone coming out of the deck here. Sushi. Oh, but it gets mana drained here. The deck taking 1 point of damage from that City of Brass. But he has 4 colorless mana in his next main phase. Okay, so BB-8 continues his turn, activating the factory and putting a copy artifact on it. Can actually attack as well. Choosing not to. Chaos Orb coming out. Paid for by that. Ooh, okay, let's see if it hits. Okay, actually, yeah, it got the Underground Sea. It does make it so that the Silverstone out of the deck doesn't really work here, because there are no colored mana on the side of BB-8 anymore. Only factories. Attacks with 1. Now if the deck blocks, he'll just pump the factory. Okay, getting in for 4 here. Yeah, okay, so trying to get a home run. Oh, okay, the deck getting a book out. Tapping that Silverstone, that's a mistake. He shouldn't be able to... Okay, but now I can use it. It might not be that important then. Activating the factory. Okay, yeah, it wasn't that important. The deck should have taken 1 more point of damage because he had to use... No, maybe not. He just used the factory. Yeah, so it had no effect. Now there's an Underground Sea. Again, trying to crack BB-8 out of Underground Seas. Attacking with the factory, gets tossed to Plowshare. BB-8 takes 4 points of life here, just pumping it for good measure. At his end step, the deck draws with the book. Now, BB-8 really needs to stop that book as quickly as possible. He only has 2 shadows in his deck though, and a Chaos Orb. Needs to work overtime to get one of those. I suppose he has a tutor as well. But the longer this situation evolves, I mean, the deck has blocked BB-8, also that Mind Twist helped him, and now he's drawing twice as many cards a turn. Now a Library of Alexandria. Time Walking, drawing, yeah, at the end step, now the second turn. Really a lot of draw power here. He needs to draw into the library range probably, then he'll draw 3 cards a turn. BB-8 trying to get some momentum going here, getting spell blasted though, a rare sight out of the deck seeing that. But he can still draw with the book, just a ton of mana here. Now putting down a mode, that's what I talked about. Now the factories will be kept in their tracks. So yeah, Jens Ole elects to just untap his Mana Vault here because he can't use the factories for attacking anymore. So we have a book and we have a mode. The deck is just nice and cozy here. Sitting behind his defenses and drawing into more and more stuff. And that mode is really damn brutal against the ground armies of BB-8. Doesn't have any flyers before sideboard. As said, I think Jens Ole should take in all his Shivan Dragons after seeing this. Ooh, a big brain geyser here. The deck draws again. I don't know if he got a counterspell, but counters the brain geyser. He drew into 7 cards with the book, then drew with the library as responses to that spell. Can now draw again. I think the deck is running away with it here. So much stuff the other guy needs to get through. Oh, that's the Mirror Universe. I think the deck is so far low in life here. Jens Ole just elects to take a point of damage from that mana vault. Now getting down a Trisk. Oh, at his end step, the Trisk gets off the Plowshared. Okay, so Jens Ole has a bit of a dilemma here. Should he shoot the other guy, knowing that he'll likely trade lives, or should he shoot himself? I think he should perhaps shoot himself for 2 and then the Triskelion shoot itself, so that he doesn't gain any life. And the Triskelion gets into the graveyard, so it can get back in with a Time Twister. Yeah, he did so here. Shooting himself, knowing the other guy will trade now. Yeah. Oh, but okay, never mind. Has a Fireball out of the deck, the classical combination. Trading lives and all the damage Jens Ole has done up until now was for naught. As he just got all those damage to put on himself and then fireballed out. Mirror Universe is such a brutal card in the deck, actually. Saw it in effect here. So as for sideboard, as said, I hope Jens Ole will take in for all 4 Shivan Dragons. I hope he'll take in some Blood Moons and perhaps some Red Blasts. The deck, I hope he'll take in some Blue Blasts just to counteract that, and he'll likely take in some Divine Offerings. Maybe a Wrath of card. I don't know if it's too slow and clunky. As said, it might be a fail-safe if Jens Ole makes a transformation sideboard. But I'm iffy about that. Obviously, he'll take out his Abyss and City in a Bottle. Both players will. They don't have any function in this game. That'll be my sideboard predictions at least. Let's run straight into round number 2. BB-8 should be on the play here. Let's see if there are any mulligans. Factory go. Okay, both players keeping their hand as a Mox and a Sol Ring. Underground Sea into a Time Walker. Look at the deck go here. It's a lot of stuff. No second land drop though, but he has a Mind Twist for 3. What did he get? Underground Sea, Factory, and a Robot. Brutal just to take the other guy's lands in the early game like this. Second Factory though. Yeah, punching in for good measure. One of the deck is tapped out. Drew into that Tundra. Kept that hand, hoping that he would draw into a land with that Time Walk, but so he could have Mind Twisted for 4, but still, I suppose the deck can't complain. He has that white mana source now, so he can defend himself. Oh, he attacked with the Factory. I think that's a mistake. Gets disenchanted. Ancestor Recall at his end step. Oh my god. Yeah, BB-8 just losing lands here. The deck is ahead. A Mind Twist for 3 and an Ancestor Recall. Workshop coming down. Okay, we get some stuff going. Mana Vault. A lot of mana. I think he should attack now. The deck must be without. Yeah, okay. Getting in here for 2. What's this? A moat. Okay, yeah. No more party with those factories. I can't remember if he had a second moat in his sideboard. If he did, he might have taken that in. That would make sense. We need a Shivan Dragon. He can play it. I hope he took them in. Oh, and that's a book. Okay, so the deck is getting bolted. The deck is in his second phase here, having established his defenses and getting his draw engine going. An attempt with a Triskelion here, mana drained. 6 mana for the deck. You can actually just use that to draw with the book, if he doesn't have anything more worthwhile to play. If he has a Brain Geyser, that will obviously be really bad. Or it might be a recall here. Looking through his graveyard. Yeah, Doesn't look like it. It also costs a bunch of colors. Okay, only recalling for 1. Getting rid of a counter spell. Oh my god, he must have many counter. Okay, getting rid of a Swords to Plowshares. Showing he has a counter spell here. And then drawing for the final 4 mana for free. Getting bolted again. Yeah, BB-8 just flinging them at him, trying to rush the deck down before the card advantage gets too much. It's his only bet. I mean, the deck is down in life, and when he's down to 6 points of life, it's actually touch and go because he needs to counter every bolt. So the BB-8 might sneak a victory because he has those burn spells. Another bolt here. Okay. Can he make this work? Blood Moon. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, getting countered though. Good attempt though. Oh, counting the mana up. What do we have? Deck is a lot down in life here. Mirror Universe. Oh man, do we have a repeat of the second match here? Yeah, okay. And Zul just taps his own mana vault just to take a point of damage from it, knowing that there'll be another trade here. It's really bad. There's a sushi, but we know there's a moat to keep that back. Now trading life. Oh man, this is just impossible, isn't it? What can BB-8 do here? I mean, crushing card advantage out of the deck here. Now recalling the Time Walk. Oh, Time Walk, and he has a tutor and a counterspell in hand, so he will Time Walk, then cast him on a tutor for the Fireball, then take his second turn and Fireball Jensole out, having counter backup as even then. So touch and go, man, but the deck took this 2-0 in a convincing manner. He was a lot down in life here, so I hope in a way that the deck, or that BB-8 could burn him out finally, just to have a third match. But yeah, getting crushed here. We see Jensole's sideboard options: 2 Red Blasts, 2 Shivan Dragons, and 2 Blood Moons. I think he should have taken in all 4 Shivan Dragons, to be honest, but otherwise it makes sense, right? Okay, the deck took in his Wrath of God, Divine Offerings, as we see here, and that's what he took out. Yeah, took out a book actually. Spell Blast was too expensive. Took out Swords for the Divine Offerings, but he still kept 3 Swords in, so he still had answers for those Shivan Dragons. So yeah, the deck took this one 2-0. Jensole is down 1 match here. He can't really lose anymore if he wants to get into the top 8, so we'll have to keep our fingers crossed for as many games as we can get. But yeah, the deck, it is a brutal opponent here, and we see in this match why it is one of the top dogs of the format still. Brutal stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this match. We'll follow BB-8's next match in a jiffy. Catch you next time.